Hey guys, how's it going? Shimbob here, and the video I made the other day talking about my controller layout and using bumper jumper to improve your game in first-person shooters kind of got me thinking a bit about some of the other things that I use personally and some of the things that I think that you can use to improve your first-person shooter skills even more while still staying on a bit of a budget, which is sort of what I do. You might have heard of these things talked about by other YouTubers and stuff. They're very common things, and I just wanted to, reiterate how important these things can be. So starting off with number one on this list is a headset. It doesn't have to be an expensive headset, doesn't even have to be a proper gaming headset, just some sort of headphones that you can plug into your controller to just block out the ambient noise and background noise so that all the noise from the game is just funneled straight into your ears and you're not getting any of the ambient noise from the rest of the world, blocking that out through speakers. It's sort of one of those things you don't realize how much of the game you're actually missing out on and how much time and effort the developers put into helping you be better at the game and hear more things when they develop the game through the sounds. So once you play that first couple of games with either a gaming headset or some sort of decent headphones that can block out, at least over-ear headphones that can block out ambient noise, you'll just be so much more aware of what you're missing out on, and you'll feel a lot more confident being able to hear footsteps, different types of gunshots, and just being able to distinguish a bunch of different sounds that you couldn't pick up before. So for me, that is like out and out the number one thing on the list. The rest of the stuff on the list isn't really ordered, so we're just going to get through it. And the next one I wanted to talk about was a monitor, or at least a smaller TV. So basically there's what is called input lag between the console and what you see on the screen, and depending on how big the screen is or the quality of it, you have more input lag. So what you're doing with your controller then is telling the Xbox to do a certain thing, then sending a message to the screen to tell you again what's happening. There can be quite a bit of a delay, and this sort of thing can make you feel a bit disjointed and you don't really notice it. Again, sort of like the sound thing, you don't really notice it until you start using better quality stuff and you realize, holy crap, this is so much better, I can't believe I was using that before. I used to play on a 50-inch TV. I used to play Call of Duty, Destiny, Titanfall on my 50-inch TV, which is now just for watching Netflix, and it had like over 20 milliseconds of input lag time, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the monitor that I'm using now has like 2 or maybe 5, I can't remember, milliseconds, and you can't really notice it when it's that low. So it was one of those things where I went to a smaller, I think I've got a 22-inch computer monitor that I use for my PC gaming, and also another one that I use for console, and it's just non-comparable to a big TV. Like, it's just above and beyond. And again, like the headphones, you don't even have to get a good one. You can just buy a smaller TV if that's the way you want to go, or buy a half decent monitor. I think mine were like 150 Australian dollars, which is like maybe just over 100 US dollars for you guys in America. So it's not even that expensive. They're not the greatest monitors, but they're smaller and they have decent input lag times, so that's the main thing I was looking for. And now we're moving on to a bit of a product placement part of the video. I just want to mention I'm in no way sponsored by these guys, although I kind of wish I was because I love their products. And that is Control Freaks. Basically what they are, they're little extensions for your joysticks essentially, which just give a greater range of motion with your thumbs, because you'll hear a lot of people talking about the advantages that PC gamers have because they have such a wide range of motion with their mouse. So this kind of evens the playing field a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And what you can do then is you can either have the same sort of control that you normally do already, but at a high sensitivity, so you can sort of turn faster and be a bit more snappy with your aim. Or you can do what I do, and you just keep it at the same sensitivity that you're at now, but you have greater control because you have sort of a larger range of motion and finer sort of settings that you can set your thumb to with a joystick. So that's something that is like an actual product that you would have to buy that you don't need. Like, you need a screen to play on and you need a way to hear the game, but you don't need Control Freaks. But if you're looking for the next thing after those first two things I mentioned, this is definitely what I would recommend. They're cheap. They're like 20 bucks, and I've bought one pair, and that's the only pair I've used for the last like 2.5 years. So highly recommend Control Freaks. Go check them out. And if anybody who works at Control Freaks is watching this, come check me out. Sponsorship maybe? And finally, I was not going to mention these last two things because they're sort of just little extra things, but I will just tag them on the end of the video. One of them is also to do with reducing controller input lag, and that is using either a corded controller or at least plugging your plane charge sort of cable into your controller so that your battery sort of never runs out, because when your battery starts to run low, it sort of gets a faded signal to the Xbox, and that can introduce some input lag. You won't really realize it until it's too late, and then your controller batteries have died, and you might start to realize that your performance was wavering a bit towards the end of the battery life of your controller. So if you just keep it plugged in all the time, your batteries won't run out, you'll have good input time, and yeah, so much better. And lastly, to do with aim, again, not control freaks, but lowering your sensitivity at least to begin with. It's something that a lot of people talk about. I see it all the time. You can just tell when someone's got their sensitivity too high. They're sort of aiming all over the place, overcorrecting and stuff. It's pretty obvious to see, and believe it or not, but all the MLG players for COD, Halo, any sort of first-person shooter on console, they don't play with anything really different from the default settings. Maybe one or two higher. Even those guys that, unless they're like shotgunning in Destiny or something, they won't be running anything higher than a 3 or 4 sensitivity. So just try lowering your sensitivity and see if that improves your aim a little bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. They are just my budget sort of tips for improving your FPS experience and skills, taking them to the next level. If you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. It's really appreciated. Even subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Cheers.